Hi everybody, welcome back to the Desmworks channel, and today we're on with part 3 of the Ducati 750 SSie engine build. So in this video I'm going to be covering off the check on the oil pump. So I'm going to show you that process of stripping that down and doing some basic checks on that, and then we'll be putting all of the bottom end back together, the final few bits of that, and then putting the pistons and cylinders together, putting them on the engine, getting heads on, and putting the belts on and tensioning them, and hopefully finishing the engine build. So hope you enjoy it. Please, if you're not subscribed to the channel, hit that subscribe button and notification bell for more content. But let's get into the video. Okay, next thing we're going to do is we're going to just check on the oil pump that everything's okay in there. Now, rather than clamping it in a vise, what I'm going to do is I've just put it back into the engine so that I can easily access it. First thing I'm going to do is just check the relief valve mechanism, which is here. Okay. Should be a little valve comes out there. Let me just get something to tap it with. Might pop out when I there we go. So there's our little relief valve. So that sits in the assembly like so. And there doesn't appear to be anything untoward about that. So I'm relatively comfortable with that. Now I'm going to do a dimensional check on the gears, so I need to undo 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bolts. That will enable me to slide that cover off. And the owner was just a bit worried about oil pressure, so asked me to check this specifically. Although there were no signs of anything particularly worrying in the engine, as you saw when we did the big end bearings, the wear was not particularly bad. Okay, let me just tilt that up again slightly. Gently. Okay, so what we're looking for is any excessive wear in the face. Doesn't appear to be anything. Can't see any damage in the oil relief housing. So that's looking okay. You'll notice there's no gasketing material. I think this is the first time I've shown an oil pump open. But again, you can see the gears. And what I'm going to do, I'm just going to find out the measurement to check between the gear wheel and the casing and just see what is the allowable wear limit. But don't have a step in the case when it's sat in there, which is good. There's no signs of excessive wear. Either on the front of the case or the back of the case. So we're pretty good on that side. Turns over nicely. There's no notchiness. So let me just find out what the clearance measurements are, and I'll come back to you in a second. Okay, the wear limit between the gears and the face of the oil pump is 0.1 as a maximum. So this is 0.1, and I can't get it between the teeth in the case. Or in there as well, and I don't want to force it because I don't want to scratch the face of the actual pump body. So the clearance between the pump body and the outer of the teeth is good, which means that oil pressure can't escape as it's being built, you know, because it leaked back. I can't remember which way's the suction. So we're good on that front. And then just checking against the, see if I get it in against the back face of the case. And the wear limit on there is 0.07, but don't have a 0.07, I've got a 0.06. And I can't get that in. I'm just pushing against it, can't get that in. So, pump looks to be good. So I'm just gonna make sure all the faces are clean. Again, just check. Got no scoring or issues on there. Give that a good clean. No wear inside. There we go. I'll put these back in. 3 long ones, 3 short ones. Okay, all these are 10 Newton meters. Okay, they're all done up tight. Just check it's still free to spin, which it is. Now on the plug for the oil relief valve, that needs a little bit of thread lock in it, so just give that a clean and then put that in. Just check what's needed for that. Okay, for the relief valve it just says to snug it home. There's not actually a torque setting for this, so I'm just going to put a bit of gloop on it. Going to put a little bit of oil on this. Oh, that's annoying. It's testing my patience. Right, a little bit of oil on there. Put it in. And then get that. Sorry, I'm going to have to reposition you guys. Gotta be careful I don't cross thread this. So. There we go. So it's got some thread lock on there. Now it just says to snug this home. There we go. Okay. Just pop the holding bolts out. Dowels coming out. Now what I'm going to do, just fill it up with a bit of oil. Right, a bit more oil now. That's better. Actually filling the pump up now. Oh. Ah, there we go. Oil's through, so we know the pump works. Just do it both ways. Okay, now I'll probably go everywhere when I go to put it in the pump, but I know that the pump is working. Okay, so I'm going to be putting the primary gear on, oil pump, and then actually I might I might film reassembling the clutch for you, because this is a wet one, and I don't think I've done one on the channel. Oh no, I have done. Yeah, I've done the 848 before. So I will put a link up here to reassembling this side as well. So I'm going to change these seals. There's a new seal needed for the clutch cover as well, but key's going to go on, primary gear, and then I'll drop on the oil pump and reassemble this side and come back to you when that's done. So as a reminder, before I slip the clutch cover on, oil pump's been apart, measured up all the clearances, that's okay, primed it with oil, stuck it back on. We've put the primary drive gear in with its nut and its locking tab, 186 Newton meters, bend that over. Clutch assembly with the primary gear, it's a wet clutch assembly, so that's got its pack in there, and then the pressure plate on with the pressure plate cover screws, and the main nut inside that, 186 Newton meters. So got to stick the clutch cover on. There's one important piece, we need an oil seal in here, so I'm just going to grab that out of my parts bag, and then we'll just suspend that in with a little bit of silicone grease. I'll give a wipe round in the cover and just a blow through, and then when I come back we'll be ready to stick that on. Okay, so new seal, a little bit of silicone grease just to make sure it holds in. We'll stick that in there. That's your feed out of the oil circuit that goes into, so it goes into this oil pathway, comes up and then feeds into the end of your crank. Okay, I'll stick some sealant on here. So I've blown the cover out, scraped all the old sealant off, so let me just do that off camera, no point filming that. Okay, so sealant all round, making sure to take care to go around all of the bolt holes. Okay, we just need to put this on without touching anything. There we go. Now you've got 4 long bolts, one longer than the other, and that was because that's got a cable spacer on it. I'm not sure where that goes, so for now I'm just going to stick it in so that I can get the glue down, and then I'll check the manual as to which one needs the spacer piece on it. In fact, actually I'll leave those off as well. Right, just buzz them down till they touch. And that one's a bit tight. I did a dugger on that one. Oh, that one needs a Allen key to do it. 10 Newton meters for them all. Just need an Allen key to get that one in. There we go. Covers on. So we'll just let the sealant all dry off, but we are done. So that's the bottom end of the engine fully assembled, other than I haven't put the strainer cover and fresh gasket on. The only reason for that is because it's got this temperature probe on the outside, and with the chance I could knock it around, I don't want to snap that off, so that'll be the last thing I put on before package the engine to go back to the owner. So let's move this out of the way and we'll get on to just finishing off some of the top end stuff before we throw it all back on. So let's just cover that over. Now just have a quick bench tidy up, be back in a second. Okay, so we've got this new piston and cylinder for the horizontals, because if you remember that was damaged. We've got the existing vertical one, but some new piston rings and the old piston. So what I need to do is get rid of all these piston rings from this piston. I then need to gap the new set. And then I also just need to check the gaps on this piston as well. So what I'm going to do is I'll just clean up the hatching. So just need to remove any scoring marks, which is very little in there. Just put a nice cross hatch in for the new piston rings, and then I'll go about filming doing one set, and then I'll do the new set afterwards. Okay, so the manual doesn't actually give a build setting for the piston rings on the 750 SSie. I will check that after I've done these, but it just gives a maximum of first and second piston rings 1 mil and the oil scraper 1 mil. But that is a surprise for me, because usually there's a setting for when you first put the engine together. It might just be that it's an old manual. So what I'm going to do is just quickly check what they are, and then I'll double check after I've finished filming here as to is there any advice anywhere else on what these should be set to. So I'm comfortable that they're new rings, so I'm just going to put it in. Get it started at the top, and then using piston just push it down about halfway down the bore in the swept area. So I've put it nicely into the swept area, and by the way I've got rid of the glaze. It's got some nice cross hatching in there now. And then you've got the ring gap. I'm just going to measure that, see what we have. That's 0.4. Okay, so number one is between 0.4 and 0.5. Write that on there. Ring number 2, that's 0.5, won't go in. 0.4 goes nicely in, so you see it's there in the ring gap. Okay, I'm hoping that you guys can see that. And so that was 0.4, if I go to 0.5, doesn't want to fit in without forcing it, so we're between 0.4 to 0.5 on there as well. And again, oil scraper ring. So it's again, that's a bang on a 0.4. Okay, so that's that one checked. So we're well within the service limits, because obviously they're brand new piston rings, so I wouldn't expect any different. What Ducati kindly do, and I don't know if you can make this out. So what Ducati do is also show you where each of these rings in the packages go. So A is the oil control ring, sits at the bottom. B, scraper ring number 2, and number 1, the top piston ring or the sealing ring. Okay, so I'm going to just put those onto the piston now, and then I'll do that off camera. If you want to see it done on another engine, I'll put a link up the top there, and then I'm just going to do the checks on the new horizontal cylinder and pistons as well, just check that they're in the same sort of place, and then they're ready to drop on the engine. One thing I'll just point out before inserting these is the piston ring gaps. So usually when you've got three, you'd put them 120 degrees apart, so all of your ring gaps are in different positions. The manual for the 750 states that the lower ring and the upper ring should be in line with the intake valve, and the middle ring should be in line with the exhaust valve. So just thought I'd show you guys that before I insert it in there. Next thing that I'll be doing on this engine, and again will be off camera, is you can see that I've got horizontal head, vertical head, all put back together and reassembled. Shims have been put back in. What I'm going to do is the valve clearances, and once that's done, install the final seals, which are the camshaft seals, put all of the covers on, and those heads will be ready to drop on the engine. Now I'm not going to be covering the process of doing the shims in this video. What I will do is put a link up here to when I did my ST2 rebuild, and you can follow how to do shim readings on the two valves there. Right, so be back in a minute once we've done this. Okay, time to get the heads on. So I've got the horizontal barrel on, piston is in with the circlips in on the gudgeon pin. What I need to do now is just seal the cylinder base gasket. So I'm just going to put some free bond on the block, then push the gasket down, then I put a little bit more on the top, and then push the head, push the cylinder in, and then we'll get the head on and tighten that up. So I'm going to just do that quickly. Okay, push that down now. What I'm going to do, just wipe away the excess by the oil hole there, so that we have that clear. Right, now go round on the top of this. Okay, we'll now push the cylinder on. There we go. Just going to use a long spike down the oil hole just to make sure that's definitely clear. Sealant. Oil filled dowel or oil feed dowel needs to go in there. Just check that that's fully clean. It's got a little hole in the end of it as well, so let's make sure that's nice and clean. That'll go in there. Right, then on the head you'll see that there's no seals that go in there, but on the actual cylinder we've got two to put in. Black one goes at the bottom, then we have a green one that goes around the oil feed. Just seat that in correctly. Make sure the top of the piston's clean. Quick double check that the cylinder is good. All we need to do, push that on. Okay. Then it's on with washers. then head nuts. Right, then we've got to snug these down. Just going to do them by hand first. Just get that to there. Right, first stage is 15 Newton meters, or as the manual says, it's hand tight. If you use an extension piece, do it at right angles, negates the impact of the extension. Then 25 Newton meters. Go across the head. And then lastly 40 Newton meters. Okay, just check them again, make sure we're there. That one's good. 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 Horizontal heads in. Right, so I'm going to do the same for the vertical head now. So I'm just going to go off camera. I'm just going to clean up. There's a little bit of sealant around the oil feed hole. Just want to get rid of that first. Okay, same again. Sealant first. Oh. It's in a hurry to get in there, so let's just push the base gasket on. I should point out on the top of the gasket, so on the top of the gasket there's a little bit that says top inlet, so just make sure you've got it pointing in the right direction. Oh, this one's got a big hole around the oil that I've completely missed the sealant on, so just redo that a bit, just there. Come right around the periphery. There we go, it's better. Again, I'm going to just clean up the sealant around the oil hole, so we know that we've got it clear. And that feed. Right, sealant across the top of the gasket. Right, push the cylinder down, locate that nicely, just check the oil way's clear. Now on this one, 3 seals, one there, one there, one for the oil feed. Let me just get the nipple. Same again, just check this is clear. Put that in. Same again, just quick check underneath. Just make sure no debris in there. Now we'll place that on top. Same again, 15 Newton meters. Not much room in this one, and I haven't got it all the way down finger tight. Go the opposite side. 25. Just check that one because I hit the side of the head as I did it. Yeah, there we go. You've got to be careful with that. Okay, and then lastly 40 Newton meters. Just check that because I hit the side again. It's look good. Just check the settings on them all now that we're all snugged. That one's good. That one's good. That one's good. That one's good. Okay. Heads on. Okay, so going to just set the belt tensions now, and you can see that we've got the new mobile tensioners fitted. It's all just loose at the moment. Brand new fixed, so they are torqued up to 19 Newton meters with thread lock on them. These are currently loose at the moment. I'll confirm the settings, but off the top of my head I'm pretty sure these are 27 Newton meters each, but I'll double check in the manual before we tighten that down. And then, as somebody once asked, so I'm going to use the locking tool for this one. So it's put the crank into top dead center for the horizontal cylinder, and then it's locked in place so it can't move. It's lined up with the mark. It was just slightly out, but it's marked up with the timing mark on the clutch cover and then the intermediate timing shaft. Then I've got locking tools for the cams are in place, so all I need to do is just undo these 3 bolts on each of the cam pulleys, and then I'll tension the belts. The belts are done to 110 Hertz plus or minus 5 Hertz for brand new belts. I have had the belts on here for 24 hours, so they've temperature adjusted to the environment and to the engine. So let's get this done. I'll just turn the camera off while I just undo these 3 bolts, and then when we come back we'll make the adjustments. Okay, so got the tool in place, switch this on. Needs to be 110 for brand new belts. Got 120 on there. 110 bang on, or 111 on the vertical, 123. So just need to take a little bit out on this one, very marginal. Right, that's 115. So we got 115 and 111. These bolts get torqued to 26 Newton meters, so I'm just going to do that now. Okay, they're locked in. Let's just double check again. That's okay. Still okay. Now I'm going to take the tool out. I'll spin the engine over, just check where the belts have settled at. 11 Newton meters, 26 Newton meters. Just going to take out the locking pins. We'll get it back in place. I'll do another check. there we have it. The 2003 Ducati 750 SSie engine is back together. Belt tension's all done. Loctited and tightened. The mobile tensioner done back up and torqued. Our camshaft pulley wheels and the turning gear cover is back on. I've got a couple of little bits and pieces just to reattach back to the engine for the owner for when he collects it, and also want to get the brackets in the right place, but I'm not going to film those. But that is that build finished. So if you've got any questions or comments about this build, chuck them down below. So if you're not subscribed to the channel, please hit that subscription bell and button. And if you're looking for more content related to Ducatis, hit the notification bell, and there's plenty more to come. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed this little series of videos on the 750 SSie. See you in the next one. Cheers then. Bye.